society. He should
have been locked away for life for what now?
He should have schizophrenia.
You want him to?
You actually said that. I can't believe you actually said that somebody should be locked away in jail forever for schizophrenia. Did you really say that?
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Is this actually?
So are we going to lock up everybody with schizophrenia for life?
He demonstrated violent proclivities repeatedly.
You said he should be locked away for life for schizophrenia.
That is what you said. He should be institutionalized. Yes, and if you're...
I've never really felt unsafe walking through Union Station. And maybe it's different. Maybe I'm different from you or something, but
we bring back institutionalization, which there's been a taboo and a stigma on for a long time.
Who's going to take the call, Caroline?
I'm not sure who's going to take the call, but I do know that they should go to poverty does not drive violent crime, because if you apply social services and income transfer programs, minimal impact on violent crime. So really, it has something to do with the fact that a lot of these blue cities are extremely accommodative of criminals.
If we actually want to talk about crime rates, look at red states.
First of all, time out. What research are you talking about? All the research that I've seen shows that social. See what data you're pointing to that shows it's not true.
No, unfortunately, when income transfer programs are applied to low-income communities, there is a
income transfer program.
As in like giving them resources to fix the fact that they are poor.
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got Marvel's Kingpin today and the long-lost Hanson brother. This was an interesting conversation until the Hanson brother lost her mind. Let's get into this segment and we'll talk about it.
Dinner and a show. The president staging a photo op at a steakhouse tonight in D.C., just 2 blocks from the White House. Despite facing protesters inside that restaurant, he says his visit is proof that his takeover is working. And the data shows that it is. Crime is down, including violent offenses, but also down is tourism and restaurant reservations, according to a CNN analysis. And as Donald Trump threatens to send troops to other cities, one of the leaders of his own party, in which many adopted the "don't tread on me" mantra, has this message to Democratic mayors.
This is common sense, and I cannot for the life of me understand how the Democrats think this is some sort of winning political message. Yield, man. Let the troops come into your city and show how crime can be reduced. It's a morale boost for the country, and it's safe and right for everybody involved.
Yield. Let the troops come in. I am really surprised to hear conservatives kind of arguing for troops to be marching in American cities and for states and cities to yield to a federal government. Whatever happened to federalism? I ask that question a lot here.
I just came through Union Station this week, and I travel through Union Station all the time. Without question, feel safer going through Union Station now. You know, it's a better feeling. You go through, you feel safer. You're not getting approached by folks. You don't feel like you're in any jeopardy. And look, I'm a big guy. I don't feel in jeopardy often, but going through there late at night before, definitely, watching over my shoulder. Don't have that issue anymore. Whether that needs to take place in every other city in America, I think it depends upon the circumstance. And it really depends upon the mayors and the governors of those states inviting them in. D.C. is a unique situation. So I know in Pennsylvania, Shapiro has said, we got it under control. I think the mayor has said the same thing in Philadelphia, where I'm from. We do have a homeless issue. We do have crime issues in Philadelphia, but crime is certainly down there. I think it depends. In places like Chicago, where you see this fight going on time and time again, where crime is rampant in the city of Chicago, I think they should probably consider it.
But should they just yield to the federal government and to troops?
No, I live in Los Angeles, and we didn't invite federal troops to come in. Donald Trump just sent them in, same way he's trying to do in Baltimore and Chicago. And even though D.C. is different, D.C. didn't ask for this either. I lived in D.C., I lived in Chicago, L.A., New York. I've lived in a lot of big cities. I've never really felt unsafe walking through Union Station. And maybe it's different. Maybe I'm different from you or something. But I think the idea that having National Guard troops, armed men and women, standing around is threatening to me as a black man. It doesn't make me feel safer. It makes me feel less safe. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And quite honestly, it's unsustainable. You can't continue to have National Guard troops or federal troops standing outside federal buildings or local city buildings for a continued period of time and expect people to feel safe like that. That's the reason why tourism is down. It's not a productive method to solve crime.
Well, listen,
come on, Kingpin. How can you be afraid? You're Kingpin. But in all seriousness, I think he has a point there. I actually think he's one of the reasonable Republicans, at least from what I've seen. I think both Kingpin and Keith are right here. I had a friend tell me something similar to what he said there, but some things are missing. Of course, race does play a role here, right? To ignore that is part of the problem. For white people, like Kingpin was talking about, when police are around, I bet most of them, it makes them feel safer for the most part, right? But for black and brown people, yes, we want the police to protect us. Of course. We don't want to be victims. We want them in our neighborhoods, of course. But it's the disproportion of harassment of black and brown people that have led to this distrust. Like, we all know this, that at any moment these things can go off the rails. And sometimes fatal things happen. We've seen it time and time again, right? And we haven't always felt that the police are there to protect us, but almost to watch us like a criminal. Whereas for white people, it seems like they're genuinely there to protect you, right? Like, you know, we all know the classic, especially, right? I grew up in New York City, and I've dealt with this plenty times as a kid growing up, and I'm sure many of you dealt with this. The classic following you or watching you as you go to shop, clothing store, whatever store, to make sure you aren't stealing. Like, you know how shitty that feels? It's not a great feeling. I must say, when you never stole anything or ever committed any type of crime and get treated as such, that does something to you, right? It starts to make you resent the police. It starts to make you resent society in a way, in community. And I'll talk about that later. Like, I wish the panel will go further into these conversations, because I think that's where the answers really lie.
I just came from out of the country. Tourism is down all over the United States. I'm from South Florida. I'm from Miami. They are hurting terribly as well. Tourism is down because people from across the world are seeing the way brown people are treated in America, are seeing the persecution of immigrants and Latinos, are hearing about the civil rights violations, are hearing about the difficulties in getting visas, the penalties, and they just don't want to come to America. People who used to come to America a lot for shopping, for tourism, to go to Washington, to go to Disney World, are not coming to America. We have had now tens of billions of dollars of loss of tourism revenue. And it's part of what we're seeing in this economy.
I want to talk about something that's happening like right now, though. I'm running for Congress in Chicago. Trump has set his sights on Chicago. People are preparing for an invasion by federal troops, by the federal government in Chicago. And we're already seeing this with ICE. This is scary. Crime is down. And if we actually want to address crime, we would address meeting people's material needs. The other week, last weekend, I was at the Broadview facility, which is this detention center where ICE is basing most of its operations. And they are detaining pregnant women and grandmothers. It is supposed to be a processing facility where people only stay for 12 hours at a time, but that's not the case. So people are staying there without beds, without hygienic products. They are sleeping on concrete. Last Friday morning, we were out there protesting. We were singing songs, holding signs. I was knitting. And these ICE agents, I bring my knitting places. Okay. So ICE agents, hold on. These ICE agents are terrorizing our community. They're going in with masks because they're cowards. They are boarding up their windows for peaceful protesters. And I encourage anyone in Illinois watching this to join us at 1930 Beach Street this Friday at 7 a.m.
What you said is something that's very troubling. It's been debunked extensively. I've been seeing a lot of discourse online about this. This idea that poverty somehow drives violent crime. We're seeing this now in the wake of the horrific tragedy against that poor Ukrainian woman in North Carolina. The studies are very clear on this. Poverty does not drive violent crime because if you apply social services and income transfer programs, minimal impact on violent crime. So really, it has something to do with the fact that a lot of these blue cities are extremely accommodative of criminals
If we actually want to talk about
and
crime rates, look at red
deinstitutionalization.
states.
First of all, time out. What research are you talking about? All the research that I've seen shows that socioeconomic factors do contribute to crime. If you want to reduce crime permanently, you don't just send in troops and police officers. You give people jobs and healthcare, and mental health care services, and substance abuse treatment, and affordable housing. Those
I hear
things
you on those substance abuse treatment.
It's not just one thing. It's not just poverty. It's a combination of different factors that contribute to stability in communities that discourage crime.
In
you
North
can't say
Carolina,
that's not true. I want to see what data you're pointing to that says that's not true.
No, unfortunately, when income transfer programs are applied to low-income communities, there is a
income transfer program.
as in like giving them resources to fix the fact that they are poor. Because
Guaranteed
we're saying
income in
that
Chicago
poverty
has had
What are you
fantastic
talking about?
results.
Like a welfare? What are you
Yeah,
saying?
like stipends of that
Because
nature
it's not
to appease their or to basically
Because
fix
it's
their
not just about giving somebody money. It's, you know, look, if I grew up in a community where I don't have a family that has the same educational background as you do, they don't have the same healthcare access that you do, they don't have the same access to schools that you do, just because you give me some money, that's not going to solve the problem. I'm still going to have structural inequities that have to be dealt with. All those things have to be resolved. If you could just send more cops into a community and solve crime, then New York City would be one of the safest places in America, even though it is one of the safest places in America before that. But
New York City doesn't have enough.
But New York City has 40,000 police officers, more than any other city in the country.
And they're overwhelmed, and they're being asked to do things that are not their duties. To do things like responding to mental health calls.
I think
and I agree with you on that. And I agree with you on that.
Deinstitutionalization.
That's why you shouldn't have to do that.
This is actually
She's literally making the argument for defund the police, right? And having police officers focusing on actual crime and not more social issues, right? Like, whatever. Hanson brother, and all right, I have to clear this up. Hanson brother is making shit up. This has been shown over and over again. She's trying to minimalize it. Well, poverty is not the issue. We tried giving them money. No, mommy. You can't just give them money. They need purpose and a true belief that things are going to get better. Welfare or SNAP benefits, right? Like, if you've never lived on any of these things, you have no real understanding or connection. They're just meant to keep your ass alive. I am not kidding about that. Not thrive. You do not thrive on welfare or SNAP benefits. These people are so ridiculous. Give them jobs that pay $100K and see what happens with crime. And even then, like, dear Lord, of course, right? Keith Boykin was getting more into it, but she's not really trying to have that conversation. Of course, if you oppress people, they will commit crimes. There is no shocker to me that Black and Hispanic neighborhoods have higher rates of crime. No crap. Not only are they in poverty, but is it any surprise that these are also the people that are discriminated on, oppressed, marginalized, right? Is there any surprise that crime is higher when you do these things to people? Like, it's an uphill climb, guys. It's an unfair uphill climb that will leave some people just giving up on the system and perceive the system as rigged against them. So they just end up committing crimes in a simple way, right? You heard about the study about Black people when they have the same credit score, same income, and they get screwed paying a highest interest rate when trying to buy a home than a white person with the same financial data. It's this perception of more financial risk just because they are Black, even when the numbers are exactly the same. This study was replicated over and over, which forces them to live in neighborhoods that are poorer and just perpetuates this issue that I'm talking about here. Like, the truth is, sooner or later, you give up on community and society. And just, I hate to say it simply like this, but you commit crimes almost in order to level things out. And obviously, some people are just criminals because they're just greedy or whatever. You're always going to have some people like that, right? People that are just, sick. But this is why I push back against racism as much as possible. It's extremely important to me because it's just this constant cycle of despair that no one's really trying to fix the issue of how the F did we get here. Isn't it quite obvious?
You're actually making an argument that many liberals make, including one of the people running for mayor of New York, which is that police officers shouldn't be responding to mental health calls.
Exactly.
In fact, in the case of that guy who murdered that young woman, when he was arrested for that offense in January for calling 911, the police came and said, we're not equipped to deal with this. This is a medical issue.
Yes.
And so a lot of liberals have been accused
Yes.
of appeasing crime by saying, actually, maybe cops shouldn't be answering those calls.
But what you're-
Maybe there should be people who actually have expertise in mental health who should be answering those calls.
Or we bring back institutionalization, which there's been a taboo and a stigma on for a long time.
Who's going to take the call, Caroline?
I'm not sure who's going to take the call, but I do know that they should go to institutions.
I think that's my
because
point, is that where they go
And who's
after
going
the
to
call
fund
is
the
made
institutions when
is a
Trump
whole
is
other
cutting
story.
funds for all of these things?
Let's talk about this executive order with institutionalization, where it essentially says anyone that's homeless or deemed mentally ill by the state can be institutionalized. First off, Trump is cutting almost every single service that would go to actually getting people mental health services or medical care. Second, that means that anyone could be deemed unhoused or mentally ill and thrown wherever Trump or an administration thinks they belong.
What
but hold on,
programs have been shut down
I'm
in
just
Chicago?
wondering, but
There's actually a
hold on,
hospital that's
Kat,
being
let me
closed down
ask you a
because of
question,
Medicaid
though.
cuts.
Let me ask you a question about that, though. If someone is, in fact, homeless or mentally ill, what do you think should happen to them?
We actually, in my campaign office, we use it as a mutual aid hub. So we have a lot of food and water, clothes, hygiene products that people can access at any time. We actually work a lot with homeless people, and we connect them with resources in our community. There are tons of groups in every major city, but especially in Chicago, that are looking for direct action. The Niles Township Food Pantry has a
recognize
respite
that
mentally
center.
ill aren't the same thing.
I was
No,
gonna
but one
say, I mean,
exacerbates the other. And so
Sure,
we...
but Kat, but hold on. But you have to acknowledge that there are some people who do need long-term care and they need wraparound services, not just, piecemeal stuff. And I think
Absolutely.
one of the discussions that we've had earlier this week is that one of the failures that we have is that we have not figured out how to actually provide that kind of care. That, if someone is actually seriously mentally ill, maybe on the verge of violence, where do they go?
We're unwilling
Except
to
on the
put
street.
in
or
the
North Carolina, not on the
resources
verge
for
of
that. We say
violence,
throw them to
actually
jail.
demonstrated violence in the past and nobody flagged it. Actually, the police, to your point, said, we're going to refer you to more resources, and that went nowhere. So there were multiple...
What do you mean nobody flagged it? He served time for his violent offenses in the
Not
past.
for his schizophrenia.
Why
That's not a crime.
That's not a crime.
No, I know, but I'm saying that was compounding this entire issue.
I know,
the
but I'm
fact that he
saying
lashed out violently on that
I know,
train.
I'm just saying he did actually serve time for the violent offenses
Yes.
that he committed.
But he was a career criminal, a repeat offender who was let back onto our streets despite a really bad criminal record that suggests he should have been locked away for life because he was threatening the public. He was a menace to society.
he should have been locked away for life for what now?
He should have schizophrenia.
You want him to...
You actually said that. I can't believe you actually said that. Somebody should be locked
he should-
away in jail forever for
How about
schizophrenia.
isolated?
Did you really say that?
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Is this actually...
institutionalized? What you're saying is that this man should have been roaming the
I'm
streets.
saying
Is
that
that
you
your
don't lock
position?
people in prison for schizophrenia.
An
And that sounds-
institution.
Well,
An
what kind of
institution.
institutions in terms of mental health care
Yes,
services?
yes.
If you're talking about providing full wraparound services for people, I understand that. But at some point, people do get out when they have been treated and rehabilitated.
Sure, but that didn't happen here. He didn't go to an institution at all.
But you're
and so he
advocating.
stabbed a woman.
Are
said
you
he should be
advocating
locked
that
away for
people
life.
just
I just
because
wanna make-
There's thousands and thousands of people in America, more than, tens, hundreds of thousands, who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia that are walking around and that are leading fairly normal lives because they are under treatment.
A lot of
So
people
we're
who
not,
are mentally
are we
ill
going
are
to
not
lock
violent.
up everybody with schizophrenia for life?
He demonstrated.
This is what happens when you get out of their little conservative right-wing little ecosphere. She was panicking there. She was no. She tried to retract what she was saying. They're just so cruel. They're just so cruel. They're not trying to address the issue. They're not trying to fix the issue. Just delete them. Their cruelty is not accepted by most people in society. What do you mean lock them up? All right, how about for anger management? If you've taken an anger management course, you're a menace to society, right? We can't trust that. We can't have somebody who had to take anger management courses out in the streets, right? Like, you could just keep going on with these things. These people are just so effing silly.
violent proclivities
You
repeatedly.
said he should be locked away for
repeatedly.
life for schizophrenia.
He
That
should
is what
be
you said.
institutionalized. Yes, and if you're saying
All
he
right.
should not, you're saying that young women like you and me are basically just we're lambs into the slaughter. You go on public transportation in this city, that could happen to any single one of us.
I use public transit constantly. That is completely unhinged, frankly. People shouldn't be locked away for mental illness. They should be treated for it.
in an institution. Yes.
For life?
What's this?
Should be
Okay,
isolated
we gotta-
from
we're gonna-
society?
hold on, we're
as
gonna-
long as
we're
they're
gonna-
a liability to the public safety,
Hold on a second.
absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it there because I don't think we can fully unpack.
But what does that liability mean? What does that mean? Like, obviously, they're not going to put someone out in the street that they think is going to kill someone. But what does that word liability mean? That's the issue, that some of these things are nuanced. How about trying, like Kat said, get down to the issue so that they can get a treatment, and helping with stuff, getting them out of homelessness can help with this stuff, right? You would think being homeless can have an effect on your mental health, right? Obviously. Like, this is why a lot of issues in this country will never get addressed, because Republican solution to everything is the same crap. Delete it, remove it, eliminate them, instead of trying to get to the source of issues and why things are happening the way they are. Like, it's really a mess. Damn near half the country thinks the way the Hanson brother thinks there. They think they're so smart. Just remove them. Yeah, anyone can say that. How about we kill them? How about even better, right? Let's just kill them. Like, how insane are you? Well, right? Somebody's going to make the argument, well, why even pay to get them institutionalized for life? Why not just eliminate them? You understand this cruelty from this party. They're so barbaric. Again, and I'm surprised she didn't go with the earlier on the crime discussion as culture as a reason for crime, which I hear a lot from conservatives, which to them really means that black and brown people are just genetically predisposed to commit crimes. This is what a lot of Republicans think and conservatives think. That we just got a, I don't know what it is, a violent gene in our body, that we just predisposed to commit crimes. Not that we've been oppressed, marginalized, discriminated, and that many of us feel hopeless and have given up on the system and on society. None of that, right? It has nothing to do with that. Just eliminate them. Off with their heads. These people are truly not finished evolving. That's I have a real theory. They aren't fully humans, I think. Right? They aren't fully humans. They haven't fully developed. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. It really helps the channel, really helps push the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.